cause you really got some nerve. Declaring what you deserve. They probably like, damn it, he got such a way with words, but
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. Why people should stop hating on Virgos. I get it, you know. Virgos, the idea of mutable earth, people don't like that, you know, like, if earth represents what keeps people stable, and then Virgo being a word to represent the energy of the earth being movable, changeable. People's gonna hate on Virgos for that. You know what I'm saying? People don't like Virgos, like, have the ability to tap into, you know, the perception of fine details that maybe others around won't see. That's annoying for a lot of people, and that might even get some people jealous or envious, because it's like, damn, why didn't I see that, you know? But it's kind of like the, you know, those who are, you know, clairvoyant and who can see, you know, ethereal bodies, you know, that don't really live inside flesh, or that don't embody flesh, I should say. That's a gift and a curse. The more you can see, the more you gotta deal with. And frankly, a lot of signs are not. They're not here to figure out the fine details of shit. Some people is here to like just do some grand shit, you know, without having a, you know, like a king. If you think about a king isn't gonna sit here and do all the little daily tasks and the little minor quarrels, you know, within the kingdom, you know, like, that's more so like, you know, another role. That's another role, you know, and this is a second take. I made a first take that was really long. I probably put out as something else, but I was just too long. I just want to narrow this one down. So what I'll say, I'll leave with two more things as to why people should stop hating on Virgos. Okay, the whole analogy, I'm going to continue with it. There's Aries, the warrior, the initiator. There's Taurus, you know, after you've initiated, after you've, you know, won the battle and you picked out your plot of land and your values and stuff, you know, and the things that, you know, your claim of the land, so to speak. You know, you get fixed within that claim of your land, of the land. Third house, Gemini, is when you know, share that. You know, you share your food, share your dinner table, share whatever, you know. You have some fun with it, you know. Fourth house, you know, is very much like, all right, you've turned your friends into family, you know, you've brought family together, you know. Leo, fifth house, is like, fifth house energies bring families together. So the moon or the mother will bring the family together, but the sun or the king will bring families together, you know. So Virgo energy, the sixth house, you know, I'm gonna get into like each sign and like the body parts that are associated with each sign. Many of you know that I have an apothecary that's called Sixth House Alchemy, or Sha for short, and there's a lot of reasons why I named it that, but one of them is that, you know, the sixth house, you know, if you think about the wheel of time, that is a container that we're in right now, and then there's different aspects to that wheel of time that we have kind of a domain over, the sixth house being one of them, and Virgos come out of that sixth house. And that sixth house was when, after you become king, no king is perfect. So the sixth house energy is really the energy behind the idea that the king itself can have imperfections, you know? And Virgos come here to challenge the king. Now, the king or the sun doesn't have to be a person. A king can be a really popular idea that is flawed, you know? So if you think about that, and then you think about the Virgos that you know. Now, that could be your hairstyle, you know? Like, it could be as big as politics, but it could be as small as your hairstyle, like the crown of your head. Like, a Virgo could probably, that does hair, can do some hair, feel me? Because they get in every hair follicle, feel me? So that's where we begin to see where it's like, okay, we all have energies where if we put that energy in a wrong place, we're just going to be looked at as a nuisance or somebody bothering people. But if we are conscious of the fact that, okay, I know that I'm big on fine details, you know what I mean? But then again, that's only one aspect. I'm not even talking about me, because I know I'm a Virgo sun. I'm also a Pisces rising, you know what I mean? And I get into that too with the whole other shit, the whole idea of the moon sign being who you want to be, or what you came here to Earth for, kind of, pretty much. Your sun sign being what you think you need to be in order to accomplish that, and then your rising sign really ultimately being how you end up coming off as. And because of my Pisces rising, I don't feel like people put a lot of the expectations of like fine details or like a Virgo. Okay, so this is an example of how I'm both a Virgo and a Pisces. That's a fine detail. But the Pisces is that I was not talking about fucking bees. So this is the state that I, you know, you got a little image of it. That's not the first time that's happened too in this series. But yeah, I mean, if you think about the fact that people come here and they choose their lifetimes, like, I mean, even if you are within a religious system or something like that, the religious texts are even going to say that, you know, the way that you praise God is by being yourself. And being yourself really is being who you came here to be. You know, you might not know the entire aspect of that. You don't know what your you know, peak is, so to speak, at least not consciously yet, you know. But we got somewhat of a road, we have some kind of roadmaps in different ways, you know. And Virgos, you know, that sixth house energy, you know, sixth house rules the stomach. That's another reason why my apothecary is named after the sixth house. It was originally, my apothecary was originally founded upon the idea of, okay, I really want to conquer my stomach, you know. Because I've never been a morbidly obese person, but my stomach is, and it's the thing with Virgos, my stomach has been a thing where I'm like, okay, like, I wanna conquer my stomach type shit. So when I came to that thought, I said, well, shit, if I'm looking up all this stuff to improve my stomach health, I might as well help out other people and get a bag in the process. So that's kind of where the sixth house alchemy apothecary came into existence. But Virgo ruling the stomach is really interesting because before things go into your stomach, generally they touch your tongue. And just because something's good for your tongue don't mean it's good for your stomach. And if you just think about that, and now you can see more why people hate on Virgos, is because, you know, your stomach will let you know, yeah, that your tongue like that, your Aries energy, you know, your tongue, or your tongue is called, your tongue like that, you know, your head like that, you know, your mind like that, you know, not just the tongue, your mind, your life like that shit. But your stomach, you know, your liver, you know, your kidneys, and all these things, they're gonna filter these things, but your stomach is ultimately gonna let you know, like, this ain't it. You know, one way or the other. And that's kind of what Virgos are here to do. Now, the reason I'll say not to hate on them is because Virgos have the capacity to shame themselves. So if you want to shame a Virgo, or if you want a Virgo to feel shame, you don't have to work hard, you know, well, at least not for a low vibrational Virgo. We're going to get into low vibrations, high or whatever, for lack of a better term. I don't even like saying low, high vibrational. That's for those more syllables. But yeah, you don't have to shame Virgos for being, now okay, there's the whole Virgo women versus Virgo men thing, which I know I love Virgo women. I've met some Virgo men that's real cool too. But different, depending on the person, they'll get triggered different. Because if you think about it, Virgo's in the middle of the zodiac, so I can't even give one reason as to why people would hate on a Virgo. Depending on your position is why you'll hate on a Virgo. You know, like, I'll run them down. Or maybe I should have done this from the start. I'll do this real quickly and then I'll end it here. Aries might look at a Virgo and be like, yo, you're not moving fast enough. Like, Aries look at a Virgo like, you're not passionate enough. You're sitting here editing and shit like that. You know what I mean? A Taurus, like Aries, similar to Aries, will look at Virgo similarly like, yeah, like, you, but Taurus is an earth sign, so Taurus will get it a little more. The Taurus will ultimately be like, you're an earth sign that's mutable. You know, like, a lot of this is people, we're just realizing traits, but you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be negative, but people will make it negative. A Taurus who's very fixated earth sign is going to look at a Virgo like, you're too loosey-goosey. Like, a Geminis and Virgos are ruled by the same planet, Mercury. We're both, I don't really have too many issues with Geminis. Personally, I guess a Gemini would look at a Virgo like they're stopping the fun, you know, like, because I think my moon sign helps me to have a lot more fun than if I was just a Virgo. Let's say a Virgo sun, Virgo moon, shout out y'all. Y'all niggas must be real funny, because that's some like, what's happening, Gemini? Cancer. Cancers will look at Virgo like, you're not, you don't know the vibe. Not always, because Cancers and Virgos have a, whatever. But Virgo, yeah, Cancers will look at Virgo like, you're killing the vibe. Bitch, don't kill my vibe. That's how Cancers look at Virgo. I mean, it's a lot of people, but Cancers especially, because Cancers more than anybody, like, control the vibe. Like the moon. Like the, you know, but what's after that? Then Leos. Leos are like the controller of multiple vibes. And then Virgo, so yeah, Leo will look at Virgo like, and these are all like the more negative versions. There's more positive versions for each sign too, which I should do. But Leos will look at Virgo like, I don't know. Leos are very like earthly of the fire sign, so I can't really, it's not like Aries. Like, I don't think a Leo is gonna rush a Virgo, because if you think about a lion is a not very fast animal, you know? And also it's a fire sign, so like Leos appreciate that we're not just earth signs that are just gonna stay in our one fixated reality. So Virgos and Leos, I don't really feel like Leos hate on Virgos. Leos, especially like Leos that know they the king, is not about to sit here and like. If anything, they'll just reject a Virgo before they hate on a Virgo. You know, Virgos will look at other Virgos like, oh, this is what people are talking about. Libras will look at Virgos like, you're like shitting on my friends. Like, can you stop? Scorpios appreciate Virgos, I feel like, more than anybody. Because Scorpios are also here to kind of put death to things. Like, Scorpio rules over death and stuff like that. And in some sense, Virgo puts death to, you know, ideas that, you know, their time have passed, you know. So Virgos and Scorpios tend to get along. If anything, Scorpio will hate on a Virgo's intellect. Because Scorpios are probably like the second most intellectual, if not Gemini, you know. That was a strong opinion for me. Like, others would be like, no, Libras or Sag, I don't know. But there's like intellectuals, and then there's like wisdom, and then there's like the space in between them, you know. But before I digress too much, Scorpios, Sagittarius is also a mutable sign, you know. So the mutable signs tend to not really hate on each other. Like, we fuck with each other. Shout out Sagittarius, shout out Geminis, shout out Pisces. The mutable signs, we're all mutable together. So it's like, you know, like one person will feel a certain way, but like then we're like, oh, well, that's all right. They just changed their mind. I'll change my mind too. Shit, whatever, you know. Like, mutable signs, we're not really haters. Let's see. Capricorn. I think Capricorn thinks that Virgo just is a little reckless. Like, Capricorn follows a rule. Like, between the three earth signs, Taurus and Virgo will break the rules. Capricorn and Taurus will bond over not wanting to change, you know. Virgo, yeah, Capricorns are looking at Virgo like, yeah, you don't follow the rules enough. Even if it's not the law, whether it be the rules of like the standards in music or like a form in poetry, a Capricorn is a lot more likely to follow the rules than a Virgo. So that's how, you know, Capricorns are hate on Virgos. Like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's against the rules. What? Aquarius. Again, that's a hard one too. I get along so well with Aquariuses that I really have to make a stretch with this one and say that Aquariuses will like, oh, thanks for the pollen. Aquariuses will look at Virgo like, yeah, I can't even think of Aquarius that's gonna hate on a Virgo. Feel me? Cause yeah, like Aquariuses are like earthly air signs for me. Like, so like, yeah, I don't really see that happening too much. Pisces and Virgos have a thing. It's not really hating on each other. It's just we learn about each other by experiencing each other. So I don't really feel like Pisces hate on Virgo. Pisces sees the fine details too, but kind of integrates it more with the bigger picture, them being the last sign of the zodiac. So that's another, I appreciate my Pisces rising, because I mean, I can't imagine being something else right now. But like my Virgo energy, I can feel it distinct from my other energies because I don't know, it's so potent. I can feel like, okay, my hand, even my hand movement, like Gemini rules like the hands and shit like that. Like, this is like a way to animate, you know, shit and things like that. Like, there's other things that add flavor to our signs and stuff. That's why we get moon sign, rising signs, all these things. That being said, that is why people should stop hating on Virgos. We are so sweet, you know. The yes, the lower versions of Virgo is going to be obsessive. You know, I have fallen into obsession before. That's how I'm saying that. Like, but what I will say, the best thing I can say to get people to stop hating on Virgos is that that's not something Virgos have to do. That is a choice. When I say a choice, I mean Virgos can choose to get out of that pit of obsession, you know, because fine details, yeah, that helps with things, with a lot of different things, you know, but also integrating the bigger picture with the fine details is necessary as well. So, yeah.